Course Introduction: What you are about to master. Welcome to Broker Management Clinic the Number 3, Supervision, where we move beyond simply understanding real estate transactions and step into what truly defines a successful broker: control, compliance, and leadership. Throughout this course, you will learn that being a designated broker is not about closing deals. It is about protecting the public, managing risk, and building systems that prevent problems before they ever occur. This section begins with supervision because everything else in this course, delegation, licensing, standard of care, risk management, and even advertising, flows directly from how well a broker supervises their business. By the end of this course, you will not only understand the law, but you will know how to apply it in real-world situations across Arizona's evolving real estate market. The foundation of supervision in Arizona law. Supervision in Arizona is governed primarily by AAC R4 28-1103, which establishes that a designated broker must exercise reasonable supervision and control over all licensed and unlicensed individuals within the brokerage. This requirement has not changed in substance under the 2025-2026 updates. However, recent rule changes have clarified expectations and modernized how supervision applies in areas such as electronic records, advertising, and technology use. Understanding reasonable supervision in practice. Reasonable supervision is not a one-time action. It is an ongoing system of oversight. A broker must actively review transactions, ensure proper use of contracts and disclosures, monitor advertising, manage trust funds, and maintain accurate records. For example, if an agent in your brokerage submits an incomplete purchase contract missing key disclosures, the failure is not just the agent's. It becomes the broker's liability if proper systems were not in place to catch the issue. This is why supervision must be proactive, not reactive. Real estate employment agreements, the legal backbone under ARS, paragraph 32-2151.02, employment agreements must be clear, written, and include all material terms, including compensation and duration. This statute remains unchanged and continues to be a critical compliance area in 2026. A common real-world example is a broker failing to properly define compensation in a listing agreement. If a dispute arises, the broker may not be able to enforce payment under ARS, paragraph 44-1017, Statute of Frauds, which requires such agreements to be in writing. This ties directly into supervision. Brokers must ensure every agreement meets statutory requirements before it is executed. Delegation of authority. What you can and cannot pass on. Delegation is necessary in any brokerage, but it must be done carefully. While brokers can delegate tasks, they cannot delegate responsibility. Under ARS paragraph 32-2153, a broker may face disciplinary action for failure to supervise, even if the mistake was made by an agent or assistant. For example, if an unlicensed assistant discusses contract terms with a buyer, this could be considered unlicensed activity and the broker may be held responsible. Delegation must always be paired with training, oversight, and clear boundaries. The risk of losing your license, where supervision fails. ARS, paragraph 32-2153 outlines the grounds for denial, suspension, or revocation of a license, including failure to exercise reasonable supervision. In today's environment, this is one of the most commonly cited violations by the Arizona Department of Real Estate. Consider a scenario where a broker fails to review advertising that misrepresents a property. Even if the agent created the ad, the broker is responsible for ensuring compliance under AAC R4 28502. This demonstrates how supervision directly connects to risk management and license protection. How this section connects to the entire course. This section sets the tone for everything that follows. In Section 2, we will explore licensing renewal and unlicensed activity, both of which depend heavily on proper supervision. In Section 3, we will dive into the standard of care and lawsuits, where supervision often determines liability. In later sections, we will connect supervision to E&O insurance, advertising compliance, and agency relationships. Everything begins here. If supervision is strong, the brokerage is protected. If supervision is weak, risk multiplies quickly. Online discussion. Question. 1. Why is reasonable supervision considered the most important responsibility of a designated broker? Answer. Reasonable supervision is critical because it ensures compliance with laws, protects clients, and reduces liability. Without proper supervision, errors in contracts, disclosures, or advertising can lead to legal consequences and disciplinary action against the broker. Question 2. How does ARS, paragraph 32.21.51.02, impact a broker's daily operations? Answer. This statute requires all employment agreements to be written, clear, and complete. Brokers must review and ensure compliance with these requirements in every transaction to avoid disputes and maintain enforceability of compensation agreements. Question 3. What is the biggest risk when delegating tasks within a brokerage? Answer. The biggest risk is assuming that responsibility is transferred along with the task. In reality, the designated broker remains fully responsible for all actions taken within the brokerage, including those performed by agents and unlicensed assistants.